milestone year, and what a year it has been. We have really been on an incredible journey going into this topic of purity, looking at it from so many different angles. And we actually began with the topic of awareness with Sister Genti back in September last year. And it feels very much that we're now ready to revisit this vital topic and go even deeper into it and really immerse ourselves in what we mean by purity when it comes to awareness. And I'm absolutely delighted to have Santosh Didi with us. It's always such a pleasure to spend any time in your company, Santosh Ben. So it really is wonderful to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Philippa, for inviting me and being with us. Yes.
Now, before we get into our topic, it would be lovely just to hear a little bit about how you came to be in Russia, and what were your first impressions when you arrived in that land? What impressions did you form?
Oh, so we are going away from awareness to this.
We'll come to it.
Coming to Russia. Okay. So actually, coming to Russia, I would like to see it as being brought to Russia, because destiny and God, these are the two things which, of course, play a very big role in our spiritual life when it comes to question of some kind of physical decisions, physical activities. You can say that you decided this, you did this, you chose this. But at spiritual level, this was something which was being designed and manufactured from childhood. When I was at the age of 8, I started learning Russian on my own. I didn't know at the time why. And it was a very serious urge. I opened. That is a big story, how I got the Russian magazines and from where I got all these materials. But I started learning Russian on my own. And by the time I reached at the age of 18 years, I already had post-diploma in Russian language. And it was from Russian Culture Center in Delhi. And by the time, my family was with Brahma Kumaris and learning Raj Yoga meditation, but I hardly had time to visit to the place and to learn this. I was very much engrossed in my study. I finished my zoology honors. So throughout the day in university with this faculty of zoology, and in the evening with Russian Culture Center. Till that time, I received diploma. I didn't know why I am doing this. Absolutely no clue. And only when I had a very conscious visit to headquarters of Brahma Kumaris, where I was there for the first time after finishing my university zoology honors. So their connection with the Supreme happened the way that I understood my life is going to be this. And then within a few years, came from Soviet Union, that the people here would like to go into the depth of Raj Yoga. And by that time, I was the only person who knew Russian. And invitation came in Delhi. And Dadi Guzar, Brother Jagdish, they were the main instruments at that time who took the decision to include me in that, the beginning pioneers group with other 2 teachers like this.
That's so interesting that almost it's as if the child has an awareness of what their role is going to be in this lifetime. And, my own childhood, I used to go off and do public speaking competitions and monologue competitions and loved nothing more than, speaking in front of a group of people from the age of 4.5. And it's almost like the soul has an awareness, even as a child, of what destiny is calling us to do, which I find so interesting. But the other part of my question, how you found the people of Russia, I suppose is partly because I think I'm right in saying that I have the honor of being the first Brahma Kumari to go to Russia. I went there in 1984 as a representative of the Brahma Kumaris for a peace bus tour, an interfaith peace bus tour of Soviet countries.
Yes.
And the impression that I had at that time was actually one of the incredible purity of the people of Russia. You go into a Russian Orthodox church, you look at the artwork, you look at the ballet, you look at the architecture, even the underground has such splendor. And there was something profoundly touching about the purity of the people. And I wonder if that's how you felt when you went as well.
Yeah, actually, when came, I was already into deep realization and practice of the truth of Raja Yoga, and I didn't know anything about Russia or Soviet Union by that time except language. And whatever pictures or songs we were taught, those were in my mind. But I had very clear vision and feeling that I'm going to my father's land, because whole world belongs to Father. Supreme Soul is our Father, and I'm going to Father's land, from one room to another room, and I'm going to my family, two brothers' souls. So these are also the stars, the soul. That vision was so stable that the response also came immediately. Teachers or myself also, when I was there as foreigners, that some foreigners have come, because I myself didn't have that consciousness or awareness at that time that I'm going to some foreign land. I'm going to my own father's home, like that. So therefore, there was love, 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 everywhere love coming, and surrendering, dedication, as if people were sitting there and waiting that somebody will come. And there were gatherings of hundreds and hundreds, 600, 700 in each and every meeting. And they would just sit for 4 hours, 3 hours. They don't want to go. And when we practiced silence after every lecture, I think about 20–30% will go into trance and would see some light and star, or would say, we already saw you in our visions that you are going to come. So such kind of story happened. First 5 years, that was the scene. Wherever we went, because it was quite a big, intensity of the traveling in first 5 years, different parts of Russia, almost all cities, were covered. Wherever I went, just one response was there. I knew that you will come. We knew that you will come. I saw you in the dream. I saw this man, the picture of founder of Brahma Kumari's, Brahma Baba. So this is what was happening in the beginning. So it was very clear for me that it's not me here, and it's Father is using me as an instrument to give what these souls deserve, what he had in reserve for his children at this side. And so I don't need to disturb him anymore. I have to disappear and not to guess who are they. I didn't even try to think that I need to understand these people. I know, because they are connected with him, and my task is not to disturb in between.
Wow.
So
that's a beautiful awareness of its own, and I really take that point to heart, that it's not for you to analyze their connection with the divine, but just create the the environment in which they can make that connection for themselves. And of course, in the Soviet Union, access to a spiritual path, spiritual traditions had been very difficult for many years. So they must have been very appreciative and thirsty for this experience. And we're talking about purity, and I wonder.
Yes, if I hear one thing, it's a very good thing that you said this.
Yeah.
That because religion and spirituality were not allowed and there was no access to any of such resources. So when I was leaving from India for Russia, for Soviet Union, there were many who were whispering in the ears. There they don't believe in God. Nobody talks about God. So you should restrict yourself by using the word only, supreme power or some higher energy, higher consciousness. Don't use the word God. Like this, they just whispered in my ears. But when I arrived and the gatherings started, lectures, meetings started, so because I was using by the time translation, because I lost the practice of speaking Russian after I came to Brahma Kumaris. There was no use at that time. But when I came back, I came to Soviet Union, I started speaking. And so I was all the time hearing the word Bog, Bog, Bog. I'm saying supreme power, supreme energy, and they are saying Bog, Bog, Bog. I asked, what is this Bog? They said God. So God, if they are speaking God, why I should not speak? So then I ignored whatever they taught me before coming to Russia regarding what I should be doing here, what should not be doing. And within 20 minutes of conversation of whatever the courses, basic course of Raj Yoga is there, they are just in that awareness as if they had been listening this years and years as ready-made spiritual learners or students of the meditation, already very old meditation. Within 1-2 meetings, after 4-5 first meetings, I thought that they are not speaking anything. I'm not asking any question because there are 700 people, what can I do? So I, at that time, decided to ask clearly, are you understanding something? Are you grasping something? And what are you understanding? Tell me what you understood in these 4 days. And the whole hall stood up and said, Ya Dusha, means I am a soul. You see, it takes months for people to come to this awareness. They keep on underlining many things. I saw light, I saw peace, I saw you, I'm very happy, all sorts of things. But they were straight into that truth, basic truth to be able to understand in just 4 days after 70 years of communism, when you're not allowed to talk about God, you see. So there I realized for myself that no one in the world has the power to reach to that level of awareness or consciousness where God is sitting, where truth is sitting. You can do anything physically. You can put some barrier to this place in front of eyes, but you can't create a bondage at the level of soul. There, the light was ignited and waiting, the waiting for Father to come. And as soon as Father came, they just responded. It was really wonderful. And after that, I thought, now I don't need to disturb him. Let him do his task, you see.
I mean, 70 years is 2 generations. That's a long time for a culture to change. And as you say, the innate spirituality could not be suppressed. They were like seeds waiting beneath the surface of the soil, ready to sprout as soon as the water was poured. But the impression that we form outside of Russia of the Russian BKs is their ability to portray the purity and beauty of this spiritual message through their dance, through their movement, through their portrayal in drama and plays. They seem to carry naturally this purity within them. I wonder if that's because they were protected for 70 years from some of the other influences that we in the West went through, or is there just something innately very pure about the Russian people?
Both things are here. One is that, of course, because of certain kinds of limitations to own the material prosperity, that is, you had very less rights to own a business or to have lots of, houses or cars, etc., very low wages. Art and culture was at its peak, science was at its peak, but at individual level, you were not allowed to accumulate. So because of that also, even the great scientists or the good poets, dancers, etc., they were at the level which is called humble, because nothing of the material status or prosperity was there to make them think as a road cleaner or a simple worker in a factory, he gets the same wages as the very big scientist. You can understand? So when we came and we saw that, it was surprising. But when spiritual meetings started, we saw good fruit of that. Good fruit of that in contrast to India, where we had to think and worry a lot for organizing the gathering, these seats for VIPs, these seats for IPs, these seats for, if some good professionals come. Here you don't need to prepare anything, nothing. You just go and sit. People would come on their own. A very big scientist is sitting in the last row and some worker is sitting in the first row, both feeling satisfied and self-respect. So this was one thing, because they were not allowed to collect material, worth or prosperity, so that kept the souls naturally humble. So that was beneficial in spiritual journey, to start spiritual journey. And second, because there were restrictions in terms of, using your life the way you wish, as if it is like a big community, communism, big community, where each one has to do definite labor, definite contribution to the society. So people had more than 2-3 educations. If they have some professional education, then they will definitely have some technical training, and 2-3 more connected to art, dance, or painting. So like this, not less than 5-6 spheres of involvement. So that was a big plus, because of already being ready in that field. When they came to God and God gave the realization of who you are, and you originally were perfect. So wings came quickly. Oh, and now we can use this all for the whole world, for our whole family. So there was just, the inspiration to touch the sky. Yeah.
Very beautiful. And I suppose part of the reason why I wanted to talk to you about your experiences of Russia is, because we have this conflict going on in Europe at the moment involving Russia. And it's important for us to understand the qualities of the people and to see that, the spirituality that is there is coming from such a pure place, and it's seeped into the soil of that land. You know, if you think of the fairy tales, if you think of, you know, all the ballets and music, you know, they understand the mystery and the wonder of the magic of this world that we live in, and they convey that so beautifully. So there is this other side to Russia that's important to remember.
You see here, one is the people, and then is politics, rule. So now in this world, the common citizens or common people have been kept totally separate from decision-making process. Even if the name would be democracy, even if the name would be inclusive rule, but hardly the voice of the people is heard. Even if there are so many social organizations talking about peace, or doing so many different kinds of efforts so that the people, those who are sitting at higher levels, they can hear how the country should be run. So that is the reason that on long-term basis, when decisions are made just because of fear, you know, if territory is big and people are ready to grasp something which you have more, you know, for example, one country has the population more than billion, another country has even bigger population, and but no territory. And this land has big territory, but less population. So certainly the fear is there that people are looking at you. So when we think with this kind of fear about others, we always have the attitude of safeguarding us beforehand. It's just a guessing of mind that anyone would come and take the territory or would interfere in whatever is happening, because otherwise we will not be able to protect. So it's like, you know, preponing the real actions. It is nothing is happening, but and when, you know, such kind of defense system and spending a lot of budget in that, more than 80% of the whole, you know, money goes in the defense budget. So what will be left for the family and the society and the health? So once these things are there, so you won't keep them for museum or as toys to say, but you will definitely use them for the purpose they are created. So that is dilemma. And people, although they love their land, although they are not offensive or hostile, but because when these things happen and different kinds of opinions or the mass media feeding, you know, against their own rulers, so mess is created. This is what is happening. This is what is happening.
And it makes it even more important.
At the rule position, they have their own problem. And they have their own problem because most of the Russians don't know English. Very less percentage of the people know English. So those who know English are most of youth. This is generation who has come after the communism. Yeah. So they don't have those values, loyalty, truth, etc. So they grasp any kind of information from the media, from the world, and they develop disfaith, attitude of disfaith. So all that combines and you see what is happening now.
And all of that makes it even more important to be very careful what awareness we are carrying with our thoughts, especially, you know, at a meditation center like yours in St. Petersburg. The emphasis is placed on, you know, what thoughts you're keeping, what is emanating from you. Is it good wishes? Is it love? Is it purity in your awareness? How are you finding your students able to maintain this attitude, this awareness of pure good wishes at this time?
Of course, the center already exists 32 years, and most of them are practicing meditation more than 20, 30 years. There are even newcomers also, but mostly are those who are quite old and are responding always in direction of helping people, their friends and relatives around, to first of all not to panic, not to react to hearsay, no, whatever is being shown to you on televisions or whatever you, not to react and do in this condition. So this kind of participation on daily basis, of course, is there. But most interesting thing is our contacts from administration, from the ruling, authorities whom we had been serving and meeting them, or some of them had visited to Mount Abu. They are expressing a very genuine wish to come to meet and talk about the things happening, because we had been through and throughout talking about peace and love, purity, good wishes, through and throughout. And they liked that. They understood that, yes, these are the values which are most important. But now when this is happening, so now they think we are the first ones to question that if you are talking about love and peace and purity, why it is not working in our society? Why these things are happening in the world? Why they are doing like this? And also we are confused. Now we don't know who is right. Our government is right, or some outsiders are right. You should explain us. Where is then peace? Where is then God? Such questions they are asking. So here is, we feel that our role is coming to that point that when we are able to use not what now we speak like principles or methods, methodology, whether it will work or not now, but of sharing what we could accumulate all these years. That, trust in God, trust in our own karma, and really pure feeling for everyone, no matter whosoever that person was. So accumulated power, account of that goodness is the only thing which we are able to share, give our company. And of course, after that, they feel, oh, thank you so much that we came, and we feel clarity. And we are really now feeling what we can do, because nothing can happen through panic and blaming our government or blaming another side. We have to take control of our own life and help the community around us to stay stable like this, So this is what is the.
I think we're all feeling it.
Yeah.
I think there is this creeping sense of fear that is coming into people. And, in a way, the opposite of fear is love. And at the Brahma Kumaris, we've been talking for so many years about, maintain good wishes, keep love in your heart. And it feels that we're now coming into a time when we're really being tested on that. Is it actually possible, when you're really faced with a situation, the potential is to spin out of control? Does this meditation work? Are you able to stay safe within that boundary of loving, pure attitude for all of humanity?
Yeah. You see, hundreds of BKs, Brahma Kumari students, as they are called, they are living in the areas prone to war or where actually war is taking place. There is constant disturbance, more than 4 years. Some have been able to come out uh, in their own private vehicles and have arrived in the safer cities. For example, in Petersburg, few families have come. One of them, for example, to take, there are many such. One of the cases, she says that this is the border area where my house is, and already there are soldiers standing with guns, but she wants to go for meditation class in the morning. She does not want to miss. There is a person, there is a soul. So she starts talking to Almighty Father. Oh, my dear Father, you see, anytime I can leave this body and life will finish, but I don't want to miss being in your house and meditate. So even if these people don't understand you and they are doing their own duty, but let them, shoot from back so that I don't get any bullet here. I get something from behind, not here. Here will be quite painful. So like this, talking with joy in a jolly way, she moves, reaches the center, meditates and come back. And they are still standing and they stop her and ask, why you're smiling? You see? Because they saw her going somewhere. And once she comes out, she's smiling and happy. And they stop her and ask, why you're smiling? And she says that because I was sitting in meditation so that we all can live in happiness and whole our country can be peaceful. And they look at her. So you think we are wrong? So she says, no. I was thinking for you. I was saying to God that you all can also be free from all this and be, okay, yes, go. You see this? And there is a center which is, two countries are having conflict, for example. So the place of that center is soldiers of one side also. They are having their camp there, and from this side also are having their camp. And there are BK sisters, those who visit, those who are medical, professionals. They visit them also and them also, and they are not stopped. And they know that they are living in this region. Yeah. So, because when for a long time you have been stick to your identity in your awareness as soul, light, above one particular nationality or language or religion, then this energy, accumulated energy, it's not today I have learned from somewhere, I have read a book, you have to be peaceful and you are spiritual being, and then you go and talk about this to people. This does not work. Long time accumulated awareness, stable, unshakable awareness, spreading this feeling that yes, light has come to you. So this is just one small example, but these last 4 years, there are stories after stories. One family, one choreographer has just arrived a month ago by covering, I think, more than 2,000 kilometers, driving on her own and crossing so many borders, few cities, and with just one thought, I am God's instrument. If God wants me to dance more and to teach his children to be happy, learning, dancing and singing, he will keep me alive. Otherwise, let this body go whenever its time has come. So with this consciousness, she brought 2 children, one about 18 years and another is 13 years, both with her driving, and they arrived 1 month ago, completely safe. Although, of course, they were not in that position that we can say peaceful, but inside this awareness kept them very strong.
Those are such inspiring stories, very graphic and deeply moving. particularly the student who crossed the line of soldiers to come for her morning meditation. You think about the effort that we make to go to our morning class. It's nothing compared to what that soul is going through. It makes you feel a little bit, humbled. But you mentioned some of your students talk to you about, how come we're not seeing what you're saying is coming, which is a better world, that, God's plan is unfolding on earth, because we're not seeing that. I wonder what you answer to them, and also how you are able to maintain, because you said earlier on that you don't interfere with someone's connection with God. You just let God get on with his own work. And is that hard for you to be the observer of difficulties that are happening around you and just say, this too is in the plan of the drama, and be detached? So those kind of questions, how do you address those?
One of the important aspect of knowledge in Brahma Kumaris is 3 tasks of Supreme Soul, Supreme Father. And the task which happens when he is playing his role in the world drama is of establishment of that lost world order, one world order, that original word, golden word, new word, establishment. And when you construct a building of few stories, 10 stories, 5 stories, it takes time. You collect all materials, you make a plan, project, and then communication, etc. So this establishment takes time, and then is that whatever is the old, when old, it is too old, it becomes like, futile, useless. It's no more, needed in the world which he is establishing. And what are those old kinds of attitudes, values? It's anger, greed, hate, dislike, conflict, jealousy. So these are the things which are not needed. So automatically things happen that these tendencies, after they grow fully, after they show their heads fully, then are finished. Somehow they're finished. Things happen in the society in the way. So both these tasks take place at the same time. So when I understood this explanation, under this subject of world drama, history of world drama, I was dancing at the time. I said, this is what I, as if knew in my heart, that the word once was a pure word. Word once was the word of the pure human beings, deities, as we call them, not as what we see now. Because 3 years when I was sitting in Delhi University in my library with all the books around me saying that the ancestors of human being were monkey, you can think of that, a conflict happening in my mind. My heart says, my awareness says that we are originally good, kind, pure. And here books says, syllabus says, my faculty teachers, my professors say that we were monkeys. So, and when I heard about this study, education, that this history of ours, which we know is incomplete, and when we don't know your complete, the whole past, you have a piecemeal knowledge, a broken knowledge of the past, you cannot have a firm vision of the clear future. You can't think of golden future with having the knowledge of the history as your ancestors being monkey. But as soon as I realized and got this knowledge, it became very easy to remain engaged in, okay, now my focus, my involvement, my occupation is to assist him, because his task is more benevolent. His task is a pure task. And getting involved in all this kind of conflict resolution coming out as a result of negativity in the people. Thank you so much. I don't want to be the part of that, because I see that it will never end, because in order to end that, you will have to cut your head. What is the meaning of cutting your head? Means you will have to give up jealousy, anger, hate, and nobody is ready to do that. Everyone thinks that I am right. So therefore, I don't want to be the part of this, because before understanding this word of knowledge of world drama from Brahma Kumaris, I was the leader of student union in Delhi University. And I was, from my childhood, like the leader of all the children of the community, in our area. Almost 70, 80 children were always there in our house. And I was, talking to them how to be good. How to be neat and clean, how to behave with the parents and this and that. So, and as the leader of the student union, I saw that no one was ready to listen when you speak about that they should not do this wrong act. They would always say, no, I'm right, that one is wrong. So I was mentally, really fed up with all that, doing a worker of a moderator, peacekeeping person. So I understood, no, that it's not possible for me to do this. And when through meditation, realization came, I am a soul and I have a father. And coincidence was that during one of my visit to Mount Abu, headquarters of Brahma Kumaris, when I was taking leave, then senior most teacher, she gave me one, blessing, which said, sometimes children do the mistake of putting father's hat on their head, so they get headache. And children look good with their own hat on the head. So this was like a very clear message for me, that to change others, to calm others, to try to finish their dispute is his problem. My problem is to take care of my purity, take care of my good stage, which he can use the way he knows, the way he needs, the way he wishes, because he knows, sees, wishes better than me million times. So final, once for all final. So therefore, whatever is happening, 32 years we are here, of course, traveling in different parts of the world also. No matter whatever happens, my whole focus has to be, this is what I understood, has to be on my thoughts, on my, do I see him in this situation, or I have started looking more on what is happening there?
I think you're absolutely right. You can't really tell people to not do something because they'll have their own opinions about that. What you can do is be the example of what they could be and inspire through leadership, through being the embodiment of those qualities. And in a way, what you're saying with being the observer of the world situation as it is, that we have to love the world, even though it's going through this difficult time, and to hold the vision and the faith that this new time will come, and to really remain stable in that vision.
And
let
also
me just remind people watching, if anyone would like to post a question for Santosh, then do please feel free to use the chat box. We will just keep going because this is such an interesting conversation, but if you'd like to join in with a question of your own, then do please post a question. But yes, Santosh, carry on.
You here, what that not just observing what is happening in the world, of course, but at the same time giving a contribution, full-hearted contribution everyday big contribution, intense involvement in establishing the word which you understand now, which should come. That is most important for me and for the people around me, that we should remain engaged in that, so that anyone who comes from that area and say, oh, see here, the heaven is here, as if we feel we have come in a different world. So that's my duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you another question. You've talked a lot about God as the Father, and of course we know God is both Father and Mother. You have the divine feminine as well as the sacred masculine. But you have a very particular connection with the first sort of sister of the Brahma Kumaris, who was the right hand of the founder, and we call her Mama. And you very much keep a connection with Mama alive. And I wonder what it is about the qualities of Mama that speak to you so deeply, and what you feel those qualities can offer to the world at this time.
Yeah, you see, the word Mama itself says you that someone who is embodiment of care and love. And around her, you are safe and protected. So that was the feeling I got from every meeting and sitting in front of, Mama's picture or portrait. So I felt that this image, this love which she had for God, reflecting, her identity, vibrating that kind of closeness with God, only through this we can benefit people around us. Because if there is not a surrender of intellect, if I don't feel that, yes, he is the supreme intelligence and the ocean of knowledge, and I just have to be very clear, simple, like a child in front of him, I cannot get any kind of help, because my own experience, past life experience, fears, prejudices, guesswork will disturb me to get help from her. So that is what was in Mama, in surrender. This is the word when people are, allergic of the word surrender. They think it means you will be in bondage, you will be a bonded worker if you surrender. But it's not the question of surrendering to human being, brother, sister. It is the question of surrendering to the one who is really yours eternally. Because we are not these human beings with just 60, 70, 80 years life. We are eternal souls. So at that level, he's the one who is the most, well-wisher of yours. So surrendering to him means surrendering to his directions, knowledge, which which is called the highest dictates about my life. If 24 hours from morning to evening, I just surrender to what he says about when you should get up, how you should get up, how you should eat, how you should work, one day, at the end of the day, I glow. So that was what visible in Mama's personality, So you need the personalities who are able to be, channels of God's love and, give. So that is what means you are free, then he is doing whatever is doing. So that's surrender and love for Father.
So in a way, what you're saying is that the inspiration from Mama is her total surrender to whatever was the instruction or direction that was given. No need to think yourself, just follow with a pure
Actually,
heart.
you see, when we say no need to think yourself, is not that like I have thought properly once for all. You will not retest God. Once you have given your enough time to understand this is what, then it is done. He does not change every day. You see? So why thinking means yes, in case of my relationship with a human being, maybe I have to think many times whenever that person says me something, because he's a human being, I know he's not perfect. But if I have understood once for all that he's God, if you have not understood, give more time, do research, ask 100 questions. Okay, how can this be God? How this? But once you have understood, once you have totally seen this truth, then go ahead.
Mm-hmm. We have had a question come in, which is a lovely question as we draw to a close. When do you feel closest to God, whether that be the masculine or feminine side? And I suppose I would add to that a question that, we're talking about purity in our awareness, and actually the only way to inculcate that purity in our awareness is by coming into relationship with the divine, because this world has nothing left in it of complete purity. We cannot learn the lesson of purity from anything in this world. We have to go beyond this physical system to reach that essence, that pure being of pure love, pure whatever it is. So how and when do you most access that feeling?
So, the moment I realized myself as light, I felt the first experience of being separate from this body. So this separation gave me the instant sense of a joy which I never knew beforehand. I never ever knew what's called that buoyancy, or you want to, you just fly. That was a few moments experience. And having that experience with that good feeling in the heart when I arrived in Mount Abu, and I had, such kind of my meeting with the souls, they are practicing all this for a long time, and seeing Supreme Father also using the material body to meet his children and to talk to his children. So just one glance, that when he is in front of you, and that just one glance was sufficient to say, oh my God, what I was doing. I thought I'm doing this, that. Now I knew that you have come. Now now this life is for yours. So that one glance of his presence in the material body, the physical body of Dari Gulzar, that gave that experience. And now it is life. Just 1 second and you're connected. You feel his vision. You feel his blissful smile coming in the form of, rays of light. And that's it. Of course, sometimes you feel, oh, this person is not doing right for such a long time, and always an obstacle. But at the same moment, Father is standing in front of you like a mother, like a smiling mother. That point of light is a mother also, father also, my companion also. Okay, he sees, he looks at me, and now I cannot behave in the same way as this person is behaving, because my mother, my father won't like that. So that is the thing, that even you don't even need to bring any power from anywhere. Just his one glance is sufficient to keep you moving on the right path.
So I guess in a way that the answer we're saying is that the experience of closeness comes when you have that realization that this is the one supreme being that you have this opportunity at this time to be in connection with. And that moment can be any moment of the day. It can happen in a split second. You can be washing up, you can be driving the car, you can be sitting in meditation, but that moment of closeness is available to you in any moment once you make that connection.
Yes, because when you have a know how he looks like, where he is, you just have to connect. That's it.
Well, maybe we should do just that and have a few moments of connecting to that one and feeling that purity of awareness that is the divine mind and the divine being. And thank you so much for sharing with us your journey in that incredible land of Russia, and what a blessing that you have had this experience at this time. It seems incredibly rich and powerful for you, and thank you for doing that.
Thank you too, Philippa, for a very beautiful conversation and taking out many good things.
Santosh Didi, would you like to share your thoughts in meditation? Please.
As soon as we decide to be in the company of our beloved Father, there is an instant wave of happiness and lightness. I am the lovely child of Supreme Soul, and He is always there, waiting for the child. Just thinking of Him makes me free from all kinds of concerns and empowers me remembering that I'm your child, oh my dear Father and Mother. I am full of happiness, no matter whatever my life was before this. But now I am with you. You are holding my hand and keeping me moving safe and strong. By telling me the truth, you are helping to move without any obstacles in the life. Your benevolent vision and smile is life for me. You are beautiful, powerful. Your beauty keeps me engaged and makes me love you more and more, oh my dear Father. Your presence is sufficient to give me a shower of purity and to experience myself as a pure soul.